Hey guys, today I'm going to be bringing you a video where I'm showcasing the true, definitive version of Gears Reloaded. This is probably the version you expected to see. This is the version you were hoping to see, and it's the version I was hoping to see. And I want to show you almost what was taken from us. And I know that sounds silly because it's a 2006 game. Nobody really cares in the grand scheme of things, but I just wanted to put this out there on video so people kind of understand when people moan where they're coming from. This version of the game, it was made by a modder. To explain, when Gears of War Original came out on PC, which I purchased and played on Games for Windows Live, you could make the editor run, and the editor was what they built the game with. And if you go into it, you can see exactly how the game was made. Maps, cover systems, even the menu system. I've seen how the menu system was built, with different layers and different particle effects. What these group of PC community modders have done, two people that have helped me a lot have been Bomber and Terry. They have got this running with bots, with Horde mode. I think there's ambient occlusion. They've improved some of the textures. They've got some character models from other maps. There's maps from Gears 3 and Gears 2, stuff like that. And so I'm just going to basically show you, kind of in a silly way, like what was taken from you. So let's just jump directly into it so you know what I'm talking about. So if we go here and I shrink this down, this is probably what you were expecting to see in Gears Reloaded. It was what I was expecting to see. I was thinking Gears Reloaded, it's going to be a remaster of the original. I'm just going to let you listen to the menu music for a short period and just enjoy that nostalgia. And you would sit here, sometimes you'd be in party chat, sometimes you'd be in private chat, and eventually that intro would come on. The humans of Sarah knew the illusion of peace, and then the cutscene would play and you'd be like, alright, I gotta skip this, let's get into a game.
The humans of Sarah knew the illusion of peace until emergency.
Yes, and then you would be ready to play. Now, when you come to play this game and you enjoy the nostalgia, you can see here that there's been a few tweaks to the game with the PC mods. Originally, this didn't have FPS and field of view, but you still could do it with commands. They've just made it a much more fluid experience. And this is something you probably expected to see in the original. Today, I'm going to be playing some Horde and discussing that. But first, you've got your keyboard and mouse controls here. You've got your controller settings. It's like the original. Funnily enough, if you go to versus, if you go to options and versus, you can choose your preferred character, just like the old days. Nowadays, if you load in and you join the game in progress, it says, okay, you don't get your preferred character, or you don't get your character until... And then, so they can't even do preferred characters, and even the pictures look gritty. They've got a description, it's simple, but they're there. And when you look at the Locust, especially Theron Guards, Sentinels, General Ram, it just looks so gory, doesn't it? Like, look at that picture of the drone. It looks like a horror movie picture. And I just love this menu. This menu is so much more nostalgic, and just simply the menu does a lot for people. And you might think that's silly, but people love the Gears 2 menu, the Gears 1 menu. Nobody's looking at that Gears Reloaded menu thinking that there's any passion there, or whatever you want to call it, or just nostalgia. And when I think about Gears, it's like a feeling. That's what the game's a bit clunky, the game's a bit janky, it doesn't quite work, but it's a feeling. Whereas what TC did is they took away all of the feeling, all of the atmosphere, and then what you're actually left with is kind of a modern looking game that's a bit janky. You can put up with the jank and some games you feel like your shotgun doesn't work, some games bodying people. There's an ebb and flow. Or it feels good, it feels bad, you know. But when it hits, it's really good because it's like an amazing theme. Like even the scratches here on the menu and everything. When we go into the actual multiplayer, I think you guys are going to be quite shocked at how much the game has changed. Now, if I host a match here, you've obviously got Horde, King of the Hill, Annex, Execution, Assassination, Team Deathmatch, and they've made this game work with bots. Now, in Gears Reloaded, I can't play a private match because there are no bots. There's no fill-in with bots, and I want you to think about the PlayStation guy, the guy that's returning to Xbox that maybe hasn't played, and he wants to warm up. The only opportunity he gets is basically to play multiplayer players, and it's just a case of you've either killed the guy or you haven't. It's very binary. There's nowhere to practice, nowhere to get a feel for the game. And I'm just going to put this on casual so we can wander around, but we'll fill it with bots. We'll put Horde on. We will go for, shall we say, a classic mansion. We'll start on whatever wave 5. And you can weapon swap. Look at that. Swap the weapons. You can't do that on Reloaded. And we'll just begin. And I think you'll be surprised. I think you'll be really surprised just about how the game functions and looks. Already, the menu system is just looking so much better. We'll just turn that sensitivity down because it's very, very high for me. But you're in the game, right? You're loaded into the game. You've got the rain, you've got the wind, the audio, and I actually kind of forgot that it's like you're in the rainy atmosphere of the outside of mansion. It's very green, it's wet, it's rainy, and then you get inside of the destroyed mansion, and it's like, I've made it to safety. I'm inside of the mansion. That's gone. This whole atmosphere has gone, and it makes a big difference. It really does make a big difference when you're playing a game. The atmosphere is huge. We'll try Dom. We'll do a classic Dom, and we'll ready up here, and we'll press spacebar to start, and it's going to fill with some bots. And here we have a Gears of War 2 style Horde working on Gears 1 PC, which could be an Ultimate Edition. If a group of modders can do it, TC can do it. And just look at this atmosphere. What's been taken away in all games, not just Gears of War, is atmosphere and art style. Now look at this texture. This texture is objectively bad, but overall the theme of it is a very glossy, shiny, it looks very regal with a bright light. The rain's cascading off it. You've got the wet mountains in the distance. Okay, the graphics aren't like fantastic, but the overall theme of the picture, right? It's like a watercolor. It might not be very pinpoint accurate as compared to a realistic photo, but overall you get the theme of this rainy wind, and then when you go outside, you're in the rain, the wind, and then you get inside to listen. Safety. The wind disappears. It becomes silent. You don't want to go outside because it's raining. Am I going to push outside? It's gritty, it's grey, it's not bright. You've got the rain leaking through the roof. You know, it's a game from 2006. And I think this is what people were expecting. People are expecting just a little bit of work to be done, and a classic reminiscence from 2006. They wanted the old menu. You know, the classic couch. You can push the couch around. Can you push the couch around in Reloaded? I'm not sure. But I remember in 2006 as a kid and been like, wow, look at this. This is next level of graphics. Because I'd come from PlayStation 2. And then I was looking at something like this and I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away. And I think about that PlayStation experience. You know, PlayStation has some fantastic graphical games. And I think to myself, Gears Reloaded won't excite them like a like a fully imagine this with like modern high level textures and everything. Like even the shotgun, listen to the shotgun sound. That is the shotgun. That is the Gears of War shotgun. How are we changing the most iconic gun in the entire game? Why have we not got the original sound? Just put it in the comments below. Is that not just baffling? Like, these are some things that I just would love to ask them, because it's just baffling. This is the most iconic sound in the game. Why do we not have it? You know? Having a scrap here. Limbs flying. And, you know, I was just really surprised. And this game, you know, it plays, should I say? It works. You know, I just think it's yeah, there's some screen shake, you know, but I don't. How do I rephrase it? The screen shake in Reloaded seems more egregious than this. You know. I just am a bit disappointed and a bit I've got to a stage, guys, where sometimes I read a lot of comments. I think over this past month, I think I've honestly had, I think it said something like 7,000 comments. I can't read them all, but overall I've got a few comments here or there that have been basically, hey, you're too negative. And sometimes I think maybe I am. Maybe I'm a bit harsh on TC. Maybe I'm a bit bitter that they banned me. Maybe I'm a bit... But no, I come back to this and I just think to myself, look at what they took from us. A PlayStation player would love this. Anyone, a classic player. I played yesterday with a 59-year-old guy from Wales that had arthritis, and he got 1 kill in 6-7 games, and I stuck with him. Yesterday, you can ask the YouTube stream, I stayed in a game where I was being cross-lancered with an Xbox player for like 2 hours, lost every game. We chatted, had a laugh about it. I don't care. You could get 5 PlayStation players to like be like, yo, do you want to go 1 for 50? They'd have a grand old time, man. They'd have a fantastic time, and they might get used to how the cover works, you know. They might get used to rolling less because they're having to run away from Horde enemies, you know. They're having to practice, oh, I melee this guy, oh, I have to shoot this ticker on the floor. Like, they could do anything, right? And, like, learn the game, and then when they hop into multiplayer, they might be slightly less bad. Or they might just stick around, you know. Not everyone has to play multiplayer. I just think it's, you know, how much more fun would a PlayStation be having than a level 1 guy loading into competitive execution being crossed, as opposed to like seeing something like this. Like, just look at what we're watching. There's more atmosphere going on in this 1-second YouTube video than the whole of Reloaded. It's crazy, man. Obviously, the great guys over at the Gears PC community have you know, worked on. Look at the level of recoil, by the way. Right, I'm just gonna hold it, right, and hit fire. Watch. Look how much recoil there is. I just think it's a shame, because a lot of people tell me, oh man, I played Gears Reloaded, it sucks. I don't know why you enjoyed Gears 1 so much. Because it was classic, man. That's what it was. It was like the Resident Evil 4 remake was brilliant. It would be like Resident Evil changing all the sounds and everything. Like, this is just so, like, it's just iconic, man. Maybe it's because I'm old, I'm a boomer. I'm going to pick up the boomer as a bit. But it was just so iconic. It was so fantastic. And, you know, it's just a real shame what they took from us. If I try to look at another map, you know, for example, let's look at what's a map that maybe we don't like. Or a map that looks... I'm trying to think of like a map. Let's look at Garden, right? Because people probably don't like Garden. So let's head into Garden. And I think even Garden on the old game will surprise you, I imagine, of how it looks. So I'll press spacebar to ready up. And I'm telling you guys, you've got this. Listen to that. I swear there's no audio in Reloaded. You've got little things, right? In Reloaded, you can't really tell that there's gas. Here, you can tell there's gas. Right? You can do stupid things in old games. You know. It's just, you know. Or maybe they fixed it in this version, but in the original, you could hide in this bush. But there's just a lot of charm that has just been left. Like the color palettes, the art style has been gone. Yes, the textures are. People will tell me, Z, the only reason the game looks like this is because they couldn't do realistic lighting. The game looks so much better, realistic lighting or not, right? They also had the genius idea to give PC recoil. This was in the original as well, 4 times the recoil. So if you look, I've done this before. Look at this. That is how much recoil there is on a Lancer. And you can see it kind of moves left to right. And I'm not controlling my recoil. In Gears Reloaded, I did the same test on this wall. And it goes from here to literally just where my head height is. Like that kind of area. And it's a total thin straight line. You know, I just think this looks better than Reloaded. This here, I'm in a garden. It's green. Like, think about Garden, man. What is it? It's a bloody garden. In Reloaded, for some reason, I just don't get the feeling that I'm in like a greenhouse. There's greenhouse, there's gas, there's the conservatory style open big pillar, you know. I just don't get the feeling that I'm even in a garden-esque environment. And I think this is the version of Gears everybody wanted. This right here that I'm playing. If this game released now, and you could say, pick one or the other, every single person would pick this version. Screen shake included. Even if you had to keep screen shake on. You know, I thought I was being a hater, guys. I thought I was being a little bit unfair on the game. And I was being a bit overly critical. You know, maybe affected by, you know, them taking the game away from me, being a bit rude to me, putting out public statements. I thought maybe I'm being a bit of a dick. You know, even the kill feed doesn't have that stupid text box, you know, around it. So, you know, I just think Reloaded was a miss, and it could have been such a hit. PlayStation players could have been having an amazing time on the game. I'm playing on casual, by the way, on Horde mode, so don't think that the shotgun actually downs people like that. It doesn't. But yeah, I just think there's so much more audio, so much more charm. And I thought I'd just show it you that there's a PC build out there that I think everybody wishes Reloaded was. If I was playing multiplayer games on this, and I was playing like 8v8 King of the Hill, all that kind of stuff, you know. So yeah, I think I'll wrap up the video there. I just today wanted just to do a different kind of video and just show you that there's a great version of Gears out there. Obviously, I'm still going to play Reloaded because, you know, it's just a little bit of nostalgia for me, and it's really the only way I'm ever going to get to play Gears 1. I don't own a 360. I haven't owned a console since, like, I don't even know when the last time anyway. But, yeah, before I continue just to ramble and, you know, have an awful end to the video, I think I'll just wrap it up and just say, you know, I appreciate you guys sticking with me and watching. And hopefully you can get a bit of a rough idea of what maybe a fully fledged company with a few more passionate members to Gears could do. So yeah, Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks to the guys that obviously made the version of this game. I really appreciate it. And I'll probably see you on stream, and I'll also be making a montage at some point to just give you a few nostalgic vibes. Right home. Peace.